Can you hear us? Okay. We can't hear you yet. So could you sign it? There we go. Sounds like you're on the video and they're putting the black site behind you. I like this. They're putting the black site behind you as you speak. So good afternoon.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, how can you hear me? There's no microphone.
The three audios are right there in front of you.
Oh, sneaky.
Hello, David. We want to ask you a little bit about intelligent devices. That's the theme. We've been hearing about mobility. We've been talking a little bit about augmented reality. We've seen some demos of augmented reality in terms of being able to see the world project in front of us like with Google Glass. So the questions we have for you is, what's your take on where devices are going to go, especially mobile phones in 5 to 10 years?
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to talk to you a little bit about augmented reality. You always wind up looking like an idiot if you try to just predict where technology is going to go. The world is full of great examples. You know, Bill Gates in 1981, 640K of RAM ought to be enough for anybody. You know, so we should be careful about making predictions. But there are certain things that you can extrapolate. I'm fond of noticing, for example, that analog always goes to digital, black and white always goes to color. Gadgets always get more powerful and cheaper year by year, which is the only category in the world that gets cheaper and more powerful year by year instead of the prices going up. So, I mean, I think that, you know, the iPhone is great and all that, but I think it's hilarious that people call it thin and light. I think we're going to tell our grandchildren, you know, when I was your age, those phones were, a quarter of an inch thick. You couldn't roll them up. So I think this is hideously bulky. I think we're going to look at this as a Cro-Magnon unit a few years from now. So they will get faster, obviously. 4G is slowly coming in, so they will get thinner, they will get cheaper, they will store more. That's all pretty obvious stuff. It's the augmented reality stuff that really excites me because actually, can we do this? Can we do this? This thing? We're going to try putting my slides up, and I'm going to dip in and out. We're using super duper high tech here, combining.
Right. Let's see if we can get that.
And whoa! Can you see that?
We want it side by side.
That is wicked cool. I got that image off of Google Images thinking that it would convey impact and drama, and now that I look at it, it just looks like the cover of Dianetics. So, never mind.
It's okay for the L. Ron Hubbard fans.
So I call these the app phones, the Android phones, the iPhone, Windows 7 phones. They're not the same as a smartphone. I think we should distinguish between the two. A smartphone is like a phone that does email. It's like a BlackBerry. Remember those BlackBerries? When I was your age. So the iPhone is really started this whole thing, and don't get all excited. The two on the right are just artist conceptions. Although you should go to YouTube and search iPhone Shuffle. There's a hilarious video about a fake video of a guy showing off an iPhone the size and shape of the iPod Shuffle. You know, the little square. He's like, it only has one button. Push the button, it dials a number at random. It's really funny. This is where all the excitement is, and all the energy, and all the development. The last time I wrote about one of these things, it was like the Eisenhower administration. I often hear that an app phone is like a cross between a phone and a laptop. It's somewhere in between, and I'm glad you're having this conference because I strongly disagree with it, and I think you will too. If you look at what's in one of these things, right? It's a touch screen. It's got all these inputs and outputs for audio and video and stills. It has all these sensors, right? Tilt sensor, proximity sensor, light sensor. The iPhone itself has 15 wireless antennas, 4 for GSM, 3 for CDMA, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth in 2 flavors. GPS, all kind of, there's more antennas in here than my old New York apartment building. And it has a GPS and a gyroscope and a compass. So I'm sorry, your laptop does not have a compass in it. Okay, so it's a very different thing. And apps, so it's a whole new category, one I think that the general public still hasn't really grasped. I think it's just still emerging. And the beauty of it is the apps that people write for it. You know, the 600,000 for the iPhone, the 300,000 for the Android phones. And I'll just give you one quick example. This is a music teacher in California writes this app called Ocarina. It's based on a South American wind instrument called an ocarina. The guy sells it for $1 in the App Store, and he makes he sells 1.5 million copies in 6 months. You know, becomes a millionaire overnight. That never happened on, you know, the BlackBerry. So I'll do something I'm quite sure none of your other panelists have done. I will play Ocarina. You finger the little holes and you blow into the microphone. Oops. So your children sit in the back of the car riding their Thank you very much. Would you like to cancel the rest of the talk and just
Encore, encore.
It's cool. You tip it for vibrato. I don't know if you can hear that. So on YouTube, there's all these. There's 3,500 pieces of ocarina sheet music online, and on YouTube, there's all these videos of people playing. Like here's a quintet of Stairway to Heaven. So what is this guy? So this is the guy who wrote that app. I said he's a music teacher in California. He is, but he's a computer music professor at Stanford. But you know, same thing. And so as an encore, he wrote I Am T-Pain, an app that applies auto-tune to your own singing. That's the software they use on pop singers when they're sharp or flat. But now you can sing into your phone and listen to yourself over the earbuds, as in the style of the rapper T-Pain. And this is really funny. This is a video from T-Pain that he did on Jimmy Kimmel Live using this app on the president.
So, Mr. President, what would your health plan do for America?
It provides health insurance to people who don't have it.
Well, that sounds good, Mr. President, but tell you what, could sound a whole lot better.
Basically, we got 80% agreement.
We got 80% agreement.
47 million Americans who don't have any health insurance at all.
Health insurance.
I'm not the first president to take up this cause, but I am determined to be the last. Doctors, patients, hospitals, wasting money, healthcare, Medicare, pharmaceutical industry, diabetes, foot amputation. God bless you. May God bless you.
So if you don't think that an app phone is changing culture forever, you know, there's your proof right there. So none of that would have been possible in the days of, you know, of laptops and stuff. So you guys talk about augmented reality. These are some of my favorites. This is for the London subway system. You look down through the phone and it shows you what subway lines are under your feet. Then you pick it up like this, 90 degrees, and it shows you which way to walk to get to each of those subway lines. There's one for the New York subway system as well. This is one called Twitteround. You point it at a building and it shows you who's using Twitter right now. Then you can tap on a square and it says what they're typing, which is usually, there's some pervert in the courtyard. is a prototype application. Uses facial recognition to identify somebody in your address book and show you his social media contacts right on the screen there. Can you imagine how useful that would be at parties? You'd be like, oh, hi, Bob! That'd be super handy. And of course, the idea, as you probably already covered in this session, is that for the first time in the world, you have something that's online all the time. It knows where you are. It knows how you're holding it, and it has a camera, so you're looking through the world around you, and it's superimposing information. Here's another example. I am a person of color blindness, and so I've always had problems telling my clothes colors, and in high school, they made fun of me for wearing mismatched clothes. What I needed was this app. You point it at a piece of clothing, and it shows you what color it is by name. These are my shirts. Red, don't wear that. This you won't believe. You're going to think this is a hoax. It's not. It's real. It's called Word Lens. You point it at a sign in Spanish, and it substitutes the video in English. How the heck do they do that? It is real. And go download it. It's $5. And sometimes this information is very useful. Every now and then it's handy to know, like recent attack of shark. Yeah, that would be helpful. You can use it on menus. Yeah, that's very useful to know. And then you go into settings and you can switch it from Spanish to English to Spanish. Can you imagine the programming that must have gone on here? I mean, he's blanking out the background and substituting the same font, but in English. I mean, how is that possible? So clearly, we're just getting started with augmented reality. The world is endlessly exciting. I made this example up, but you can see the possibilities. My son's such a good sport. Now this is colliding, all of this is colliding with another huge megatrend in an incoming generation who thinks that it's completely ridiculous, our old-fashioned ways of getting things. Like, can you imagine telling a kid in 10 years how we used to rent a movie? We get in a car and drive to a building and borrow a disc and bring it home, watch the movie, and then take it back. I mean, it's absurd. Everything has to be real time. Voicemail is dead. Email is dead. It has to be texting or Facebook or Twitter. It has to be right now. Everything has to be on demand. Downloadable music from iTunes or TV from Hulu, radio, otherwise known as podcasts, on-demand movies from Netflix and Amazon, on-demand books on your Kindle. It has to be that way, and woe be to companies who don't catch on, all because of these things. All because we are now mobile and we have instant access to everything all the time. On-demand newspapers on the Kindle. And this is really wild. On-demand medicine, I just found out about this. This company signs up insurance companies so that when you have a small medical issue, you don't need an actual hands-on doctor visit, but you just need information from the doctor. You sign on and look up the doctors who are available right now. They've got 10 minutes between meetings or a little time after lunch, so they make themselves available. You look up the specialty you want, and then you're hooked up via video conference, and the doctor, meanwhile, is seeing your health history, what meds you're on, and everybody loves this because the doctor's making money from what used to be dead time. You don't have to drive anywhere, and the insurance company has to pay only for a 10-minuter instead of a full doctor visit. So there's a quick crash course in what I see as the future of intelligent gadgets. There are challenges ahead. The biggest one I see is the bandwidth crunch. We keep adding on more and more features. Now with iCloud and all that kind of stuff, we're storing our stuff on the internet. At the same time, our internet providers are capping our bandwidth, the amount of internet we can use. So, as you know, there's no such thing as really unlimited full-speed internet on a mobile device anymore. I don't know how we're going to solve that one, because more and more of these things are coming online every second, and the bandwidth is not catching up. There is a price to remain current. Just talk to somebody who still has an iPhone 3GS, you'll know what I'm talking about. And there's, of course, a huge divide among people who have intelligent gadgets and those who do not. A cultural divide, a financial divide, and efficiency divide. It's only going to get worse. At the same time, great things are made possible by these technologies. The efficiency is incredible. The amount you can get done in downtime, standing in lines, waiting for your food. I get just insane amounts done because of mobile gadgets and cellular connections to the internet wherever I am. The whole concept of Web 2.0, brought to you by Facebook and Wikipedia, this means people connecting who've never heard of each other, but who have very specific shared interests, can now connect thanks to Web 2.0 and the fact that we're always online. And the control you have over your life, this happens all the time. I'll show up at a flight, sorry sir, your flight is delayed 4 hours, and I say, well, I happen to know if your flight is delayed more than 2 hours, the FAA requires you to rebook me on a rival airline. Well, there isn't one, sir. Oh, yeah? What about that? So that goes on all the time. Instant retrieval of all the information in your life, and above all, magic. The magic of making something happen when you push a button, and making an increasing number of things happen when you push a button, or increasingly speech recognition when you speak to your gadget. So there's my quick take on the future of these gadgets, as far out as we should dare to predict. I'm happy to take questions, and that's me if you want to email me questions later.
That's great. David Ramsey's got a question for you.
Thanks for your information on the phones. Can you talk a little bit about tablets and where you think that's going to be going?
No.
All right, thanks, Pete.
Pleasure. Yeah, well, tablets are just amazing. They caught everybody by surprise. Apple announced the iPad 6 months before it started shipping it. And I don't know if you remember this, but everybody thought it was going to be Steve Jobs' folly. They thought it was going to tank. And all these, Gizmodo and Engadget and all these bloggers came out and said, who wants it? It's not really a laptop. It's not really a phone. You're not going to carry all of those. Yes, we are. It turned out into the fastest selling new electronic category in the history of electronics. 15 million sold in 6 months or something like that. So I was a little disappointed with the latest iPad. And when I say iPad, I'm talking about, what do they have, 80% of the market. In Android phones outsell iPhones now, in part because all the cellular carriers are pushing them on consumers. But iPads, tablets are not sold very much through the cellular carriers, so that effect doesn't apply. So Android tablets are lagging way behind in sales and popularity and polish. I mean, they'll always be 1 year behind, right? Because Apple started. So, they will get faster, they will get thinner, they will come in a million more varieties. There will be, right now we have 5, 7, and 10-inch. Android tablets will get many more sizes and shapes. If you've seen that 5-inch Samsung Note, it's like this big, but it's also a phone. It's like, hey Steve, how are you? You look like a moron. I think probably increasingly we will do our reading on them. I mean, that writing is on the wall already. In today's New York Times, in fact, I reviewed the world's first unlimited flat fee magazine plan. So you pay $10 a month for 30 magazines. They all arrive on your tablet automatically in the middle of the night, and you're ready to go. So very cool. So we will, as with the phones, the answer is we will keep finding new ways to make the tablets useful, and we're just hinting at that now.
Okay, well, I think we need to wrap up. Our time is up, but I want to thank you for joining us today. This has been great, always entertaining, and we're all going to go out and get the Ocarina app after seeing it. Thank you so much, Adrian. We appreciate it.
Nice to meet you guys. Thank you so much.